All right, team, welcome to the Next Fitness Show. My name is Alexis Craig, and you are here for episode 76. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We have an amazing show for you. I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend and our teammate, Marissa. Marissa, I'm just going to bring you in here just for 1 second right now so you could say hey.
Hey everyone.
Hey, welcome. Thank you
Hey.
for being on the show with us today. So, Marissa is our guest, whatever, co-host, whatever we want to call it. But Marissa's going to be here. We're going to talk about working out with the disability. All right, I'll bring you back in just a minute, Marissa. And in the meantime, just so you know what else we have going on the show, we have a lot of awesomeness. So, one, Marissa and I are going to be talking about working out with disabilities. Also, we have a stretch break. We have a move of the week. We have some announcements, including a couple of pretty exciting ones, but one that you're probably not expecting, pretty exciting one. And in addition to that, we are going to talk about some equipment that you might be interested in checking out. So, awesome. First of all, if you are here right now, I want to know that you're here. So say hey in the chat or whatever. If you're live, I want to know. So far, Carol's in there saying happy Friday. Aaron says hello and hi, Marissa. Jenny's in there saying hi, everyone. All right. So if you are here, whether you're watching this live or if you're doing the replay, please push like on the video real quick. It makes such a big difference. And I know it's weird, but push like on the video. It really helps us. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. Wait, let me get my materials ready. There it is. There it is. I got a graphic for you. We're going to talk about working out with disability. So, Marissa, let's do it. So first of all, Marissa, before we even get into the topic, will you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us who you are and what are you doing here?
Yeah, hey, my name is Marissa Shaw. I've known Alexis, man, we've known each other for such a almost is it like 15 years? Close to that.
Probably. It's
Yeah,
definitely significantly more than 10. So
yeah,
it's probably more like 15. Yeah.
yeah, maybe 15, 16, something like that.
Hmm.
And I'm also a teammate of the Next Fitness thing, um and I'm a workout rat, just in general. So I've been working out since I was a young kid, but as an adult, I specifically started working out in my early 40s. Well, okay, I just potentially give my age away, but seriously,
Yep.
I've been working out seriously. I never really stopped, but specifically, I started going hard in my early 40s.
Yep. All right. Awesome. So also in the chat, Donna D says, hey, Kelly's in here saying hi, happy Friday. Thanks for being here, Marissa. My mom says hi, and Megan says hello. All right, awesome. This is great. Okay, Marissa is also, in addition to being a teammate and being awesome, but she also is really an expert in this, not just working out with a disability, but anything with a disability. So will you tell us a little bit about that? I think you come from a few different perspectives here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I come from an advocate perspective. I became an advocate starting at 16, and then when I went to school, I specialized in public policy, did some government work, and now I'm in the nonprofit sector. I basically my job that I have helps me help people with disabilities find attendant care. Caregivers for people that are seniors and people with disabilities. And so basically, um, my disability encompasses a lot of experience in general. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. And then I also I mean, you can share whatever you're up for sharing around this too, but this is something that you personally have been working with your entire life, right? This is like, I know there's
Oh,
all people have different disabilities at different times in their life, but this is something you've been working with forever.
yeah. I mean, I was like Lady Gaga says, I was born this way.
Yeah.
So, and obviously my parents were my first caregivers. And then when I was like 16 years old, my mom said, go clean your room. And I said, no, you get paid to do it. So you go do it. And then she said, that's a true story. And then she said, no, she goes, I quit. And then I had to learn how to navigate my own care. You know,
Ever since then, ever since you refused to clean your room when you were 16, you had to
yeah,
navigate your own care?
yeah. My mom said to me, I'm not doing your laundry. You have to learn to do your laundry. I mean, she taught me different adaptations I could do to get my clothes out.
Sure.
And she folded it for me. But,
Okay.
and she still cooked for me because she was my mom. But basically, like when I was in school, if I needed papers typed or, you know, my parents still would dress me a little bit, but basically they said if you need anything outside of what we will do as parents, you need to figure out a way to pay them and get them yourself.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you've been um, not only living your own life and figuring out navigating all of this, but also like you're managing all of this yourself for yourself right now, right? You live independently. I mean, anything else you want to say about that?
Yeah, I live independently. My caregivers, I'm sorry, the colloquialism in the disability community is attendance. So if you hear me say the word attendance, I'm talking about caregivers. It's just a vernacular that people with disabilities like to use because I'm being attended to, so I can I take care of my daily events. So
Right.
it's it's a more, well, as the disability community thinks, it's a more positive expression. But your needs are getting attended to rather than
I see.
care. It's just a different perspective.
I see.
But so I've been managing my own attendance and my, my caregiving needs since I was 16, as I mentioned, and I live independently. My caregivers come in throughout my day to help me with my daily needs, dressing and bathing and cooking and cleaning and whatever else I need. Um, and so, yeah, I've been managing all of it since I was 16. So now I get paid to do the same thing for other people.
You get paid to help other people figure out how to do that for
Yeah,
themselves too. Right.
yeah.
That's amazing. You're in the chat right now. My mom says you're an inspiration, Marissa. I totally agree. I mean, I've always have been just so impressed with you. Just so you guys know where Marissa and I met, Marissa wanted to learn how to use TRX. Like she wanted to work out using TRX. And she went to the TRX headquarters in San Francisco and they kind of like were like, you want to use TRX? And they weren't really sure what to do with Marissa, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
And they knew that Marissa is someone that I might be interested to work with, especially because my brother is in a wheelchair. He's a quadriplegic. And also that they knew at TRX that am passionate about helping all kinds of people to work out no matter what they have going on. If you want to work out, I'm going to help you do it. And so then they said maybe Alexis would want to work out with you. And so they introduced us and we started working out and we like personal training, and then we became friends in addition to also being like, trainer and whatever. And then we've also gone to Burning Man
Burning Man.
together multiple times,
Yeah.
and we that's been amazing. It's so fun. And one time we even had a fundraiser for Marissa to raise money to make a vehicle so that Marissa would be able to get around at Burning Man. Because you do not, it's like, if you don't know what that is, it's a event in the desert. And so you don't want to bring a power wheelchair to that. It's going to get completely ruined. And
In like
so
5 minutes.
yeah, so just the presence of it being there, even in the car, is going to ruin it. Don't bring your power chair to Burning Man. So we had a friend help us we put a fundraiser together, and he built us a basically a golf cart with hand controls so that Marissa would
Yeah,
have a
so I could
vehicle at
drive it
Burning Man.
around.
Yeah. So anyway, and the rest is history. We've had a lot of adventures together, including last weekend we went to a fitness convention together.
Yeah.
So
Um,
um Yeah.
I'm also studying to be a personal trainer.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Marissa's studying. She's really close, actually. I don't want to put any pressure on you to take your test whenever you want, but
No, I know,
she
but
knows her stuff, just saying. Anyway, so what we're talking about here is working out with a disability. So this might, please don't take this the wrong way, but because the answer is clear to me, but I just want to hear what you have to say about it. Why is this important? Why is it important that we're talking about working out with the disability?
it's important because of inclusivity. I feel like there's places where people with disabilities can be, uh, with other people with disabilities, but I feel like working out with a disability is important also, uh, to work out with people that are not disabled, especially it's like I remember when you first went into the exercise video space, like
Hmm.
online
Like
space
went
for working.
online, right? Because Marissa knew me before I was online at all. I mean, at least for fitness. Yeah.
And so, like, I was kind of curious when you first got into this space, how am I going to do this? I mean, like, I
Right.
had ideas, but like, um, you know, especially online, there's some modifications that may need to happen depending upon the exercise. So, yes, that happens in regular gyms too, but it's a little different when you're looking at a video, and there's all kinds of different ways to modify an exercise, and there's different ways that people with disabilities can do that same exercise in person. Like, for example, I know we'll get into this in a minute, but I cycle, and I've used, for sake of this conversation, regular bikes.
Okay.
But as I've aged and my body has changed a little bit, I now use um, bikes that have been adapted for people with disabilities or built specifically um, for better range of motion and things like that.
Right.
So I work out even outside of TNFT,
Yep.
and it just depends upon what's happening, whether it's like an adaptation for a video space or online, or if it's something in person, whether something needs to be changed or adapted to for not just for me, but anybody with a disability. Um,
Right.
Adaptations, modifications allow for inclusivity. Is that a
Yeah. I mean, so I feel like the heart of what I hear you saying is that it's important to be inclusive in general. And also, what comes up for me with this is one, I mean, if we want to be a space where where all kinds of people can work out, then we need to be able to accommodate all kinds of people to be able to work out together. So that's one thing. Another piece I feel like is important to bring up is, I mean, I think that maybe a lot of people might think like, oh, those people have disabilities and have to deal with this, and it's not something that like personally affects me. And my understanding is that I don't forget the exact statistic, but it's like over 90% of people will have some kind of disability at some point in their life. Like almost everyone is going to personally be affected by having a disability at some point in their life. So even though you might think, oh, we're making this inclusive for those people, it's like this you may need it too. Like
can I share on that?
please.
So I believe it was around the 1990s that 25% of the population in the early 90s were people with disabilities.
Hmm.
And there's a joke within the community of people with disabilities that able-bodied folks are just tabs, temporarily able-bodied people. They'll join our population at some point,
They're
even if it's
temporarily
temporary.
able-bodied. Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. Tab,
People get injured.
temporarily able-bodied.
Yeah, people get injured, you'll join, even if it's temporarily, you'll join. And inclusivity doesn't just mean people with disabilities, it can mean seniors,
Sure.
um, you know and like I said, people with injuries. So I feel like inclusiveness encompasses a lot, not just people with disabilities,
Yep.
because in the end we're all tabs anyway, right? Or so
Right. Yeah, we're like all TP. We're temporary people anyway.
temporarily able-bodied folks,
Hmm.
temporarily able-bodied people.
Yeah, right. Aaron says, such an amazing role. Living with disability and wanting to be independent is so important and difficult to navigate. Donna D says, wow, that's amazing. Proud of you. And Aaron's cheering you on for sassing the mom.
Yeah.
My mom's in here and she says, you don't get it unless you're actually blessed with the opportunity to live it. A whole new world opens up. Yeah, that has
Yeah.
been my experience as well. Is unless it's personally has affected you in your family or someone close to you, you may not have any perspective on it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, okay, let's talk about what it looks like for to work out with a disability. So, first I'd like to hear your personal experience. What does it look like for you personally to work out?
Uh, it, Once again, it depends where you're asking me and what space you're talking about.
Okay.
Um, um, but also online is one thing, and in a in-person place or cycling or something, it's something different.
Right.
Um, but um, I would say in this situation that online is different because I can't move everything right, and I move differently. Like if we got a if like for uh, like I can't straighten my arm out of the way, but for me that's as straight as it's gonna get. So for me that's straight. I'm lifting, and usually I'll have a weight in my hand, and
Yep.
that's straight. Now for my other hand, like that's pretty good,
Right.
But I mean, so if you say lift a weight over your head, that's gonna look different for me than it does for somebody else, obviously.
Yep.
So, but that doesn't mean I can't do it. It just looks different.
Right.
Um,
Right. So one thing, what I'm hearing you say is like, one thing is just to understand that it's going to look different for you to do the same exercise than it will for other people. Um, Also, I mean, and what makes something possible for you to be part of versus if it's like, how do you know if you can go and do something? Like, if you were to look at a class like that we offered online, how would you know which class that you would try to do and which class you'd kind of not try to do? Or maybe you try them all. I don't know.
I
I'm
mean, I
legitimately
have tried a
asking.
majority of them, and I know that some of them are easier to modify than others. Like you and I have had conversations like, how do you modify this? How do you modify that? And
Right.
so like one of the things that we've had conversations about, eh, for example, is yoga. Like when you give yoga classes in the afternoon, I have been in them, but they're, for somebody in a wheelchair, they may not be as easy to modify. But that's why we have the adaptive yoga in the
Right.
evening, because that's easier to modify for someone in a chair or for somebody who has different abilities. So it just depends. But yeah, a
So
lot of times.
yoga is particularly challenging for everyone to be in the same class, especially the way we're doing yoga, which is that the instructor, we call it trainer takeover, the instructor is actually demonstrating. It's very challenging for me to demonstrate physically and then also attune to who's in the class and what modifications they might need at the same time. I can verbally give some general modifications of if you might need a block here or there, but if you're taking a yoga class seated versus kneeling or lying on your back on the ground or standing or whatever else would be asked of you in yoga, it's like a dramatically different thing I'm going to ask of you. So
Right.
that's a big reason why we created the seated yoga class, was because the regular yoga class is not very easy to modify, basically.
But so I know we've had conversations before, and I've had them with other trainers that have been on the platform about like, okay, what can you do? Can you do this? And basically, what do you need to adapt the class so that you feel comfortable participating? And
Right.
to be honest, that's the biggest thing. Just to have that conversation and to figure it out together so that when we come to class, cool, I feel, not only do I feel like included I feel like welcomed, like the trainer wants me there. Like,
Right.
so I look forward to it. If when I have trainers that don't do that, I don't want to go. You know what I mean?
Right. So it matters if the trainer has attuned to you to know what kind of modifications to offer you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. So I would say a good example of that is in strength class. So when we have these classes like body weight burn, strength and cardio, strength, all those kinds of classes, it's like sometimes I know you take those classes a lot, and sometimes I can just say, we're doing squat with a bicep curl, seated folks do the bicep curl, and then you're essentially doing the same thing the video shows. And
Yeah.
there's other times where now we're doing lunges, and you're not going to do lunges because you're going to stay seated the whole time. And so then in a situation like that, I kind of need to know what is possible and then offer you something that is in the same offer you something. We'll just say that. Offer you
Right.
something, period. Typically, what I do in that scenario is I'm like, what's the intention of this exercise? Sometimes I'm thinking like, oh, this exercise is to make you build strength in the backside of your body. So even if it might be lunges, if you're not going to lunge, I might encourage you to row or something because it's an upper body exercise that's the backside of your body. And I think that if you're working out with a disability, you kind of need to know a little, you need to be a little bit more knowledgeable than the average bear about how exercise works so that that way you know how to modify for yourself. Because I do think, yes, it's great to have a trainer who can work with you. And if you're only going to do one-on-one sessions, you don't need to know very much. The trainer's going to do it for you. But to take a group class that's a general public group class, you kind of need to have a little bit of knowledge sometimes to be able to have an idea of what to do, at least so that you have a decent experience. I'm not
And
saying
I
that to exclude anyone. I'm happy for anyone to come to class and try it. Just for you to have a good experience, it'd probably be the best for somebody to have like a one-on-one session to figure out what
yeah,
attunement would look
I
like.
think that's important. I think that's important. And you also have to figure out things. Maybe this goes without saying, but you have to figure out things that won't cause pain.
Right, right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's going to be so individualized, right? It's going to be different for each individual person, what's possible and what's not possible, what's going to hurt you and what's not going to hurt you. Because I know there have been things I've worked out with Marissa a lot. There have been things that I've encouraged Marissa to do that the average person would not have it be a problem. And then I mean, I don't want to give any bad examples, but there have been a couple times I've been surprised at something where it did cause a problem unexpectedly, and we had to learn the hard way, kind of. And I would also say I've been surprised by Marissa many times. Part of it is because Marissa has an amazing attitude, but like, I mean, I
I'm a
remember like the
badass.
first yeah, you're definitely a badass, and I love that you know that about yourself. But like, I think it was like the first or second session on TRX, we put your feet in the foot cradles, and I'm like,
It
oh,
was
there's this move called a pendulum, and
oh,
it's
that
like a
was the first
totally
one.
advanced plank move. And Marissa's like, I think I could do that. She just busts out the pendulum. Like, what? Okay, awesome. You're great.
We
That's
should
great.
we should put some pictures in the NFT Facebook because there's some really funny pictures of like when I
Oh
first started
yeah.
working out with you. I didn't even know about yoga pants. I'm sitting there in a pair of
Uh-huh.
jeans and a
I remember
jacket,
that. I
doing the
remember that.
pendulum, doing the
I
plank.
definitely remember that. Yep. Okay, so in general, I want to bring this a little bit more back
Yeah.
to working out to people with a disability. So, if someone is maybe newly disabled and they want to start working out, what would be your recommendation for them?
Um, to be honest, when I started working out, when I wanted to have when I knew I wanted to move my body, the first recommendation I have is to have their caregiver move them, or go to a physical therapist, ask them for moves that would help them. Because I don't want to say something wrong medically, but
Mm-hmm.
go to a physical therapist. Ask your doctor to give you a prescription to go to a physical therapist, and ask them like for moves that they would recommend for you. And that's a good place to start
Yeah.
because you've been evaluated. and then
Right.
your caregiver or your attendant can help figure that out. And then if as somebody gets more into it and they know how, then they become attuned to their body, then they can figure out things. Also, there's places in different parts of the country that help and encourage people with disabilities specifically to work out.
Yeah, and let's actually talk more about that. But I think the thing I want to put a pin in that you just mentioned was ask for help is a good thing to like if you're newly disabled and you're not sure what to do about working out, like it might be go to your doctor and get a physical therapist and it may also be and also have someone while you're exercising helping you to exercise, whether that's a trainer or if it's someone who's an attendant or maybe both. I mean, for most of the time that you and I worked together, you had someone there as an attendant plus me. And
Yeah,
so you actually had two people helping you work out to be able to work out. So, I mean, which maybe is a luxury and not everyone would be able to have that, but it definitely really helped to be able to have that.
especially on treadmill.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of a lot of examples, especially when you need to be able to get down on the floor and get back up and like be
Yeah.
able to all the things. I mean, it definitely can really help. So, um, I think that's great advice. And then, so let's talk a little bit about, so sometimes we want to be an inclusive place where people with all different abilities are able to join. PS, surprisingly, walking class is one of the easiest things for us to modify. So even though it sounds like something only able-bodied people would be able to do because it's called walking, that's actually probably the easiest thing to modify is because everybody can do whatever cardio that they want to do and it doesn't have to be a lot.
Occasionally I walk, but mostly I do upper body cardio.
Right. I mean, but you come to that class and you like I think you were just in the Never
Tabata
Have I
class.
Ever or what was it?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what
I've
it
never
was?
have. Yeah,
You were in
never
like Never
have.
Have I Ever Walk yesterday and what were you doing in I don't think you were walking, were you?
No, I wasn't walking. I was doing upper body cardio.
Right. So you're doing whatever cardio you want to do during that time. So it doesn't, you can
Yeah,
do, and that's regardless of whether you have a disability or you just want to do something else. I mean, you could take a walking class on a bike. You could do it. I think Erin, who's here, she's been taking it in the pool. You could do it cleaning house if you want to. I think somebody took the class today, the brain teaser. They were what was it? Folding laundry or something? I forget. But anyway, just saying, you could do whatever you want. Okay. Now, that said, sometimes it's great to be inclusive. And then we also mentioned that sometimes it's really good to have special places that are dedicated to people who have disabilities. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience with that?
I've been involved with an organization called BORP, which is Bay Area Outreach Recreational Program in the Bay Area.
And that's the hat you have on and the shirt right now,
Yeah,
right?
that's why I got my hat on.
Cool.
And I've been connected to them for almost 25 years. And I raise money for them every year. They have a cycling fundraiser, and I was thinking that we as TNFT could help raise money for BORP. But also, I've been working with them, and there's other places around the country too. But I love BORP. I love BORP.
Yep,
Just
BORP
like
is
you love
awesome.
burpees.
I love burpees and you love BORP. Totally. So, okay, first of all, Erin's in the chat saying that she's taken class. Oh, today she was washing her car. That's what it was. Erin was washing her car. She does the indoor bike sometimes, sometimes the pool. They're all doable in walking classes. Totally. Okay, now let's talk about BORP. So, we're going to talk a lot about BORP on Sunday because that's who our fundraiser is for. But so tell me some things that you've done with BORP just to give people an idea. BORP is specifically for people with disabilities. We know they have cycling. What else?
They have pickleball. They
Pickleball.
have they have uh, soccer.
Hmm.
Um, they have oh, what else do they have?
I think they have
Uh,
rock climbing.
oh, they have, yeah. Sorry, I've done rock climbing,
Yep.
and they have wheelchair basketball.
Yep.
And they also go on trips. Like I went to Hearst Castle, and like they have a part of the organization that almost every other weekend there's some sort of trip and travel, and we're all foodies, and then we go on these wheelchair accessible hikes.
Cool. That's so awesome. So basically, it's really cool that there is this program available. It's a nonprofit organization. That's where our fundraiser for is for on Sunday. And the part of the reason that I wanted to do this fundraiser, besides to support this organization that's really cool in general, and the fact that it's been such a big part of Marissa's life, which has been a part of my life, but also Marissa did this bike ride a few months ago as a fundraiser for BORP, and their goal was to raise $30,000. And Marissa raised like 25 of the 30,000 or something like that. She like raised so much money for them, and they missed their 30,000 goal by like $300 basically.
Well,
So I was hoping that maybe we could help to raise the last $300 so that they could hit their goal. That's really what I was thinking for this.
yeah, they wanted to raise 230,000,
Oh,
and
wow.
because that's basically our budget. BORP is very
The
small.
full annual budget is
Yeah,
230. Wow, that's actually
pretty much.
amazing.
It's besides some grants, it's very small. So we were gonna raise 30,000, and we missed it by like $300,
300
and
bucks. Right. So
so
part of this fundraiser is to help them get their last 300 bucks so that Marissa can help them to hit their fundraising goal. So that was part of why we wanted to do
yeah.
it too. Okay,
And
cool.
besides, you helped encourage me to cycle.
Yes, and the cycling is really cool when they do the cycling. We'll talk more about this on Sunday, but so you even have an opportunity to go and volunteer to cycle with people so that a lot of times they do it as a tandem bike. So like someone who's able-bodied could cycle with someone, and then that way you're both doing it together. And I think that's so awesome because
Working
it
out
makes it so
together.
that it's like not only are we being inclusive to make sure that our classes are available to people with disabilities, BORP is inclusive, and so that able-bodied people are also allowed to come and play. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, tabs.
Tabs. Yeah, that's right, tabs. Yep. And PS, if you ever try, I haven't tried this, but I've heard that when the able-bodied people come and try to play the wheelchair sports in the wheelchair, that there's a learning curve.
Yeah, yeah. In order to play, you have to get in, a wheelchair on occasion. But like to be on our bikes, you just have to have a willingness and come.
That's cool. That's super cool. All right. So, Marissa, is there anything else that you want to mention about working out with a disability for anyone before we go on? We're gonna have like, go ahead. Sorry, I
I was
didn't.
just gonna say, have a willingness. So the participant can have a willingness, and the trainer, whoever's leading the class, have a willingness. If both sides have that willingness, then I have no doubt that the class will be a success.
All right. Sounds like attitude is everything.
Yep.
And honestly, that's probably the biggest thing. Marissa, as much as I've been Marissa's trainer, Marissa's been my teacher in a big way for the past, like, however long we've been friends, seriously. I mean, in a big way. And she's really taught me attitude is everything. It's really like some of the things that I would have seen as like, Marissa just has such a good attitude in navigating obstacles again and again and again and again, and it always inspires
You
me.
made me
And I
cry.
mean, anyway, so you're really important in my life. That's the biggest thing that I want
Ditto.
everybody to hear. Cool. Okay, so with that, we picked the stretch break as Marissa's favorite stretch. So here it is time for our stretch break. This is a stretch break that's easy to participate in. This is an easy, and I just mean like no matter what you're in, I encourage you to actually do it. Sometimes on the stretch break, you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, and maybe someday. No, no, no. Today, this one, you do it right now. Here it is. In the video, we have the lovely trainer Kathy. And this is the neck roll. So to neck roll, drop your chin to your chest and go super slow and roll your neck all the way around in one direction. If you find a sticky spot, I encourage you to stay there and take a breath. If tilting your head back doesn't work for you, that's okay. When you get to the edge of how far you're willing to go, switch directions. And if you haven't switched directions yet, when you find your chin at your chest, switch directions. And the next time you can keep going if you like, or the next time your chin's at your chest, bring your hands to your face and lift up your head. All right, Marissa, what do you like about the neck roll? Why is this your favorite?
Because I normally have pain in my neck somewhere.
Uh-huh.
So it's a quick release.
Because it's not a pain in the neck.
Good one. No.
Uh-huh. And Marissa comes to seated yoga is very committed and comes basically every week. And every week Marissa says, I'm like, requests? What do we need today? What do we need today? And Marissa's request, neck and shoulders, neck and neck. So that's Marissa's favorite is the neck. Yep. P.S. If you ever want to try seated yoga, it's totally great, even if you're a tab. It's still good. All right. With that, we now have our move of the week. So our move of the week this week is also Marissa's favorite. This is Marissa's favorite move of the week. And it is, I think we should have Marissa demonstrate first. Hold on. Oh, she's already busting out. What's happening here? What's the move, Marissa?
It's punching.
Punching. Let's see it. Yeah, get it.
Uppercut. Uppercut.
That's right. Don't mess with Marissa. She means business. Seriously. Here's the move in our exercise library if you want to see it. This is seated punching right here with Sherry. Check it out. We got punches. Yes. Bringing the ferocity. All right, Marissa, what do you like about punches?
When I do them really fast, it's a really great stress reliever.
Heck yeah. And what are you thinking about when you're punching?
What am I upset about? Let's get it out.
Uh-huh. Yep, it's like you're totally in your power. I can just see Marissa light up when the punches come up, even if it's not the move that's there, if she chooses to do punches. It's like all of a sudden she's like, yeah, let's go. Yep, totally. I love punches in general, partly because it's a release, the way that Marissa is mentioning, but I also really like punches because it allows for you to twist, and that twist is a physical release. So it's good for your spine to be able to twist. Also, maybe you would need the punches in a self-defense way someday, and so then it's not a foreign concept for you to use it. It's good for you to practice that. And what else? I mean, it really gets your heart rate up. That's for sure. It gets your heart rate up. It's one of the best things to get your heart rate up without having to stand up or move your legs.
It gets my heart rate up almost more than mountain climbers does.
Totally. Totally. So in the chat right now, Jenny says seated yoga is amazing. Total. Thank you, Jenny. I know Jenny and even brought her dad to seated yoga one time. That was awesome. And Mom says, look out for Marissa. Yeah, definitely look out for Marissa.
It's funny. I know that I haven't met your parents, but I kind of feel like I have.
Yeah. You haven't met them in person, but you've been exposed. Yep. All right. So if you've been punching, then go ahead. You can take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. All right. Great. Now we get to do the announcements. Our first announcement is Disability Pride. All right, so this is the event we've been talking about. This is on Sunday. It's this weekend, Sunday. Today we're doing this on Friday. So if you're watching this live, or if you're watching the recording on, right now it's July 25th of 2025. So if you're watching this is on July 27th of 2025 at noon Pacific. It is completely free to join. Anyone can join. You do not need to be a member to join, and anyone and everyone can join. Marissa will be there with me live in the class, helping to lead the class as well. And we will be broadcasting this to YouTube. So you can, especially if you're taking this, you're watching this show right now on YouTube, it will be very similar. It'll be live on YouTube, so you can join in that way. This is going to be a totally accessible workout. So if you are, no matter what you're here to do, whether that's seated or standing or whatever you might want to do, you are welcome to come to Disability Pride workout, and we are going to have all kinds of seated cardio options as we go through. And also, if you want to do it as a walk, you can go for a walk. That's fine too.
Can
And
I just say something?
heck yeah.
So, Alexis, I've been practicing my ball throw. You've been
Oh,
practicing your burpees?
I forgot about that part. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so Marissa has challenged me, and basically, for every dollar that we raise for BORP, I'm going to do one burpee, and Marissa is going to do one ball throw.
Yep.
So you get two for a dollar, basically. If you donate a dollar, especially if you are sick of doing the burpees that I've been telling you to do for years or whatever, this is your chance to give them back. So donate a dollar, I'll do a burpee, one per dollar, and Marissa's also gonna do a ball throw per dollar.
Yep.
Yep. So that's a great opportunity. That's awesome. The money goes directly to BORP, where we don't even touch it, goes straight to BORP, and we'll talk more about it on Sunday. But the thing is, you don't have to pay anything to come to this. You can just come and be supportive with your energy of showing up. And then if you decide that you want to donate to BORP, great. And if your presence is what you have to give, that's also awesome. Like there's no pressure or,
Love
requirement to
you.
donate anything.
Love you.
Yeah. So cool. Anything else that you want to say about Disability Pride?
I live disability pride every day.
Yeah, totally, totally. Oh, I do have one other thing to say. If anybody comes to Disability Pride who is not already a member, we are giving them a free 7 days of membership to check out all that the Next Fitness thing has to offer. So if you know somebody who might want a free 7 days of TNFT membership to check it out, then have them come to Disability Pride. That's a good way for them to take advantage of that. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Aaron says, you two are awesome. Aw, thanks. Okay. Anything else that we want to say about that?
We're good for now, I think.
Okay, we're good for now. Moving on. Our next announcement is hydration, daily hydration tracking challenge. Now, RD Sharon B was here with us on the show last week talking about this. So it's a 7 day hydration tracking challenge. Sharon made an adult coloring book so that you can use this adult coloring book as the way of tracking your hydration for 1 week. It starts on Monday. It starts on Monday. It goes for 7 days and it starts on Monday. Plus, we have a prize. So one person who does this challenge and then submits their scorecard at the end is going to win a Next Fitness Thing water bottle. We had a question last week here on the show if the water bottle has a straw, and I went and checked it out. The answer is yes. It has like a fold-in straw, so it doesn't leak, but it does have like I think it's a Camelback water bottle. It's a really nice one, and it's laser engraved. It's really nice. So anyway, join the hydration tracking challenge. It's completely free to join, and it starts on Monday.
I'm in.
Nextfitness.com
I'm
slash
in.
hydrate. You're in? All
Who's
right.
with me? I'm in. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's do this thing.
Woohoo. All right. Our next announcement is directly after Disability Pride on Sunday is book club. So this is being led by Anna. The book is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and it's at 1 p.m. Pacific with Anna. So you can go basically directly from Disability Pride to this. You can get a little water in the middle or whatever you might need in those few minutes in between. And so this is this Sunday. And then as a extra special gift, Anna is adding an extra book club, bonus book club on August 10th. And the book is The Mirror by Nora Roberts. Now, I believe this is in a series of a book that we already read for book club. So this is like another book that's in that series. Don't quote me on it, but that's my understanding. So there you go. And that is on August 10th. So just saying, if you didn't finish Just for the Summer, you have a couple days. Get reading. And Also, August 10th is The Mirror by Nora Roberts. So if you want to be in on that one, definitely keep reading. All right. Okay, this is a big announcement. This is a big announcement. The big announcement is we are having a new schedule in August. New schedule in August. Now, all right, I'm going to spotlight myself for a second with this. Um, Here's what I have to say about this. The new in August will be going up in the app and everything in the next couple days, so you'll probably be able to see it pretty soon. It's going to be experimental. So if you see it and you have feelings, good. And it's going to be a chance for us to try something different in August and see how it goes. At the end, toward the end of August, I'm going to send out a survey to ask for your feedback. We created this schedule based on the feedback that our members already gave us. So we asked for this survey, it was about a month ago, and we asked, like, what do you want the schedule to look like? So based on what you said, that's the schedule that we've created for August. The thing that is special about this schedule is that, well, for one, I'm going to be waking up really early in the morning. That's one. But two, the thing that's special about the schedule is it's designed so that if you come at the same time every day, at least Monday through Thursday, your fitness program is done for you. Basically, if you come at the same time, Monday through Thursday, at any one of a number of times throughout the day, you are going to have a well-rounded program that is designed to be your fitness program. So you'll see it. We'll talk more about it. I'll show you it in the show as we get closer. We're not quite there yet, but I'm just letting you know. It's going to actually start August 4th, I believe. That's a Monday. So it doesn't start August 1st. Well, it's going to basically start August 4th, just so you know. So anyway, I hope that you're as excited as I am about this, and it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us, actually. So I'm really excited about the new schedule.
Yay, I'm excited too.
Cool. Okay. And with that, Jenny says, that sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to trying out the August schedule. And Kelly's asking if we have a winner for 30 days of yoga. Good question. Good question. We will have the winner by 30 days of yoga by next week. Mostly just because of I put the day, our day that we do things like that is on Monday, and I put the day of when the scorecard was due on Monday night. And so we couldn't pick the winner this Monday because it wasn't due until Monday night. That was actually probably, I made it Sunday night moving forward so that we won't have that problem again. But Monday's the day we pick the winner. So we'll pick the winner this coming Monday, and then I will let you know who the winner for the yoga challenge is this coming Friday. Okay, good question. I'm glad you asked that, Kelly. All right, so with that, we have Freebie Friday. All right, Marissa, would you make sound effects for the Freebie Friday video drawing?
Drum roll.
Oh, we got a drum roll. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Okay, ready? We're pushing go. Ready, go. Do, 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 do. And dun dun! It's Aaron! All right, congratulations, Aaron.
Awesome.
You are our winner for Freebie Friday. Yay! Okay, that's great. And we will be reaching out so to help you to be able to claim your prize. Cool. Okay, and okay, we have a couple minutes. Good. We have one more thing to talk about in here, and this is something that Marissa has turned me onto, which is this is our final little extra bonus topic at the end of the show. Today we're talking about hand weights. Raise your hand in the chat if you have hand weights. What do we mean by hand weights? What are hand weights, Marissa? Hold on, let me get you on the screen too. There we go.
There are these things. But the reason why I mean, there's all kinds of different hand weights, right? Um, for exercises. But the reason I like these, or in the picture that Alexis had, is that I'm good, but I have this talent of dropping my weights on the floor. So when the weights have handles like this, it's harder for them to fall out of my hand and onto the floor. My feet appreciate that. So, so,
Marissa's blowing up.
so I'm sorry, that's my word. Uh,
It's all good.
but but yeah, so there's all kinds. Like there's the ones with the that you can put your hand through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's the one that that Alexa showed in the picture that you can put around your wrists, and so there's all different kinds of different weights. The reason sometimes I like these too because they're squishy, they're easier to
Mm.
hold, but
Nice.
and they have covers, you can wash them, um, and so yeah, that's my little piece of fitness,
Nice. So
advice.
if grip is a thing for you and being able to hold on to the weights is a thing for you, then having some kind of hand weights that have some kind of strap might be something to look into because then you don't necessarily have to use your grip to be able to hold the weights, right? Also, there's those wrist cuffs so you don't have to hold it at all.
Yeah.
And and I think that the biggest thing with this for me is like it's really good to experiment with what really works for you when it comes to weights. Um, and the other thing I'm just going to say is that continually going heavier is one of the ways to show improvement. So it's great to have the awesome set of hand weights that you love. And also, don't get too attached to them because you're gonna need heavier ones really soon.
The good thing about that is they make them in all different kind of weights. As a matter of fact, I need to get. Thanks for letting me know, Alexis. I need to get a different weight size, because I've gone past. I've
Yeah, because
worked
you're way
through.
too strong for those ones now. You've outgrown them. Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Totally. And don't get
they're
me
like my
wrong, they
little.
might be the right weight for certain moves, like something really far away from your body or whatever, of
Yeah,
course. Still good. I know that even we were at this fitness convention last weekend and we even found pom-poms that are weights.
I want to get a pair of pom poms. I think they're awesome.
Totally. So there's all kinds of hand weights. Have fun with it and find ones that you like and that work well for you. All right, cool. So with that, oh, I always do this on Freebie Friday. P.S. If you want to enter to win Freebie Friday, comment on our videos on YouTube. The live chat of this does not count. But if you comment on the video, it does count. And if you comment on any other video, it also counts. And that includes our shorts. So if we published like 30 in a row of shorts of yoga, so you can comment on any of those, and that counts as an entry for Freebie Friday. Also, I did a Nexus of Alexis this week that was a little ethereal, but that is you could comment on that also to be entered to win Freebie Friday. So just so you know. Okay, Marissa, it has been so amazing to have you on the show. Thank you for being here. It's just so fun to be able to share, like, I don't know, you with everybody on our team and let you have the mic. It's great. I can't wait till you pass your trainer cert so that everybody gets to take your class. But
Thank you.
do you have any parting thoughts? Anything else? How do we find you? And oh, I know. I want you to shout out. Okay, Marissa is actually amazing in more ways than one. Tell us how to find all of your amazing work that you've been doing. And I'm not talking about your job.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a website. It's called Mobility Mentor. Alexis was kind of the inspiration to get
Oh.
that started. But yeah, I have a website at mobilitymentor.com where I talk about all different kinds of disability related issues.
Yes, and also Marissa is an author and she has been published in books. And so you can also check out Marissa's writing. How do they find that?
I'll put a post up in the group, or I'll also make a post on my website, both
I'll put it in the show notes so you can see Marissa's writing as
with
well.
all the anthology. Cause I've been in like six of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just so you know, in case you didn't know, Marissa's amazing. And yeah. All right. And that brings us to the end of this show. And I put the music somewhere and I don't know where it is.
Let's
Hold
do
on.
this again, Alexis.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
let's do this again. It was so fun to have you in here. That was really, really, really fun. Thank you to everybody who came to the show today. Thank you for all of your fun. Here, I found the music. Give me one second. Boom. There it is. Thank you for everybody for all your comments. Thank you for adding so much life to this. I can't wait to see you this weekend, especially on Sunday for Disability Pride. See you there. It's going to be a great, great time and
It'll be
also for
awesome.
a great cause. Yep, it's going to be awesome. All right, and with that, we're going to dance it out. You ready? Let's go. Oh, we got the punches again. Heck yeah.